I've seen lots of Bibles, reviewed hundreds of them right here on my channel, but you know what? I've never seen anything quite like this before. It's called the Readable Bible, and over the last year, many of you have reached out to me and said, "Hey Tim, have you seen this? It looks kind of different. It looks interesting. Are you going to review this?" And yes, I am. So what makes the Readable Bible different than other Bibles? It's really about how they've decided to present different types of information in the Bible. When you get things in the Bible, in most Bibles, it's just in text format on the page, paragraph, verse by verse. There's some things that certain Bibles do differently with the typesetting, but this Bible, the Readable Bible, they've decided to take the different types of information in the Bible and present them in different formats so that it breaks things up a little bit and helps you see that material in different ways. What am I talking about? I'm talking about things like genealogies. In the Readable Bible, genealogies are shown as family trees. When you get to a census in the Readable Bible, the numbers are listed in tables. When we read the Old Testament law, there's so many different sections in the Old Testament that are laws, right? They present those in outline format. When they talk about buildings in the Bible, these designs for the buildings are put in the text so you can see them in like a table-like format. When they make lists and things like that, they put call-outs in there to make it easier to read and follow along with. Even in long passages, the text cascades so that it's easier to follow and keep up with. And then they've inserted things like maps and tables like you might see in some study Bibles as well. All of that is taking, I think they said that there are 23 different types of information in the Bible, and they coordinate that and they present it in some different ways that I think is very unique, and it really presents the text of Scripture in a more modern format that we might be familiar with today, particularly if you've ever read like a textbook. We've all been to school, right? You have a textbook that breaks up different types of information in different ways as you study it. That to me is really cool. Now, I'm going to show you it in a minute. I found one book of the Bible as I was flipping through this that I was like, oh, this is a great snapshot, a small book that has a lot of what they're doing in here. So you have a couple different editions. You have a paperback edition, perfect bound, very, very clean, kind of squared off. I like this a lot. 6 inches wide, 9 inches tall. It's about 1 3/4 inches thick. And then they also have I'm going to set this one down. I don't want to hurt it. We have a synthetic leather edition that kind of has that kind of shiny, glossy feel to it. Same thing, 6 by 9 by about 1 3/4 inches. This one comes with a ribbon. It says the Readable Bible on the spine. Now, the translation is the Readable Bible. It's their own translation. What they say on the website is that they are trying to do a word-for-word formal equivalence translation, but then they also talk about that translation spectrum and say there are certain places where they've clarified things or they've chosen certain words or added things in to make it clear. As I've compared this to other major translations, NIV, ESV, CSB, NLT, NASB, I would say that I would place this somewhere towards the middle of the translation spectrum, kind of like where the CSB shows up. Now, I'm not formally measuring all this up. I really wish that my friend R. Grant Jones, if you've never seen his YouTube channel, you got to check it out. But he has a pretty scientific method of comparing and contrasting verses as they relate to the original languages, and then he ranks them on a scale. And one of the things I would love to see him do is take the Readable Bible and really place it, because his methodology is very, very unique. I really like it. So I think it's kind of in the middle on a translation sense, but then really where this Bible shines is the text itself. So the place I was talking about is the book Nehemiah. As you're seeing this on the page, they don't tell me, I couldn't find any information online about what the type size is, but as I measured and compared it to other Bibles, to me it seems like it's about a 10-point typeface. I don't know what typeface it is, but it's very easy to read. So when you open things up to Nehemiah, you get the first couple of pages. It looks very similar to what you'd expect from a single column Bible. I love the single column design, paragraph format, very easy to read, nice and comfortable. It's got some textual footnotes at the bottom of the page. This is not a reference Bible, but it's very nice. But you even see in chapter 1 that the text after verse 4 kind of cascades to the right a little bit, which is just making it a little bit easier to keep up with. Pretty standard moving into chapter 2. And guess what? A lot of places in this Bible, the text is going to look very familiar. It's going to look like this. It's just going to look like a really nicely done single column Bible, which I think it does look nice. But then when you flip over to the next page, you're going to see all of a sudden, okay, we're in Nehemiah. We're talking about rebuilding the wall. And here we have an image of Jerusalem's wall in the text. to help you kind of make sense of that and wrap your mind around that. I really love that they've inserted things into the text like this. Is this uncommon? Not necessarily. There are other Bibles that will do similar things like this. But then we look at chapter 3. We're getting a list of people who rebuilt Jerusalem's walls. And notice there's no paragraph format text here. All of this is listed in a table. So this is actually the text of Scripture in a table format. So you can see the section of the wall that's being built and the people who are building this. This continues all the way through the entirety of chapter 3. So chapter 3 in Nehemiah is just a table listing the people who made all of these different sections of the wall. Then you get to chapter 4 and it kind of pans back into a traditional style text. It does that for a couple of chapters. And then when we get to chapter 7, though, you see that we have the genealogical record of the returnees. We're talking about now the Babylonian exiles who are returning to Jerusalem, and it gives us this again in a census table. So we have the men of Israel by number, and then we have the numbers. You have the names on one side, you have the number of people on the other side. I don't know about you, but when I get to genealogies in the Bible, I'm often tempted to kind of just skip through or read really quickly. But the format like this is more engaging for me. And another reason why I like a Bible like this, because it just offers the material in a different way. When we jump forward to chapter 9, we're going to be reading the agreements that they made to keep God's law. And you can see they've put this little kind of image on the background to make the law set apart. We get the bolded headings and then the text cascading, and it looks different on the page. So as soon as you open this up, you go, oh, something's happening with some biblical laws in this section of the text, and that helps me see that as I'm reading it. This is just the one book of Nehemiah, but it's giving us so many different things to look at and to consider as we're going through the text. It just breaks things up. And I think this is a good snapshot of what the Readable Bible has to offer. Many places throughout this Bible, as if I just flip through right here, it just looks like the text of Scripture on a page. But also, when I start to flip through, I'm going to see certain places where something is going to pop out. One of the things that I didn't note in that we talked about earlier that wasn't represented in Nehemiah was it said a genealogy in there, but you'll see it more clearly when you look at the Gospel of Matthew. In the opening page of the Gospel of Matthew, you see this little chart where the genealogy is laid out as a family tree. So you have Abraham going all the way down and then over to King David, Josiah leading to Jesus. So you're getting these passages of Scripture that are typically very densely worded in a normal Bible, and you're getting it in a more visually compelling way that I think is more engaging as a reader of the Bible. So this is what the Readable Bible has to offer. The big selling point for this is that it's the text of Scripture, but they've changed some of these formats for the different types of information. I'm literally just right here popping into looking at the page 1 Chronicles 7. It's the descendants of Manasseh and Naphtali and Ephraim and Asher, and it's so nice to see it laid out this way versus just text on a page. So really, really cool. I think this Bible is definitely worth considering. If you have someone in your life who's a visual learner in particular, I think that this could be very helpful for an engaging way to read the Bible. But also, if you're just looking for something different to kind of mix it up, this could be really, really helpful. Like I said, in a lot of places, it feels like a very traditional Bible. I don't have a ton of information on the translation and the translators, but you can go to their website. I'll put a link in the video description, and they've got some more information about it there. I've also got links in the video description to where you can order one of these online and take a closer look. If it's piqued your curiosity, it feels like it's well made, and it seems like a very nice quality Bible, so I don't think you'll be disappointed with ordering it and checking it out and spending some time and just seeing if it's something that will kind of help you, like I said, engage with Scripture more. I think it turned out really, really great. I know some of you out there already have a copy of this because, like I said earlier, you've asked me if I'm going to be talking about this Bible. So if you have one, leave us a comment and let us know what you like the most about it. I think that would be helpful for people who are watching this video who don't have a copy of it to hear from those of you who actually have it and have spent time with it. So share what you love about it in the comments. And if you have any questions about it, if you're considering getting it or you have other questions, drop those in the comments as well, and we'll get back to you with an answer. Thank you so much to the folks at Readable Bible for sharing this with me so that I could share it with you. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so YouTube will let you know the next time I have a new video coming out. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you next time.